Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we are doing a spring shop my stash. I know it is not officially spring, but March sounds like spring and I think most of us are craving spring. So I'm going to call this one a spring shop my stash because a lot of the makeup that I picked out is very spring themed or spring vibe. So if you have not seen these videos in general before or these videos from me, I like to go through my collection every 2 or 3 months and just select some things that I'm really just in the mood to get some use out of. Maybe some things that are old favorites and haven't been shown love for a while, or even some newer favorites that I just want to continue. I love doing these videos because it really helps me to regularly take inventory of what I have and recognize the fact that I don't need to buy as much makeup as I might be tempted to buy. Sometimes if we just take the time, we can get just as excited about the things that we already have. Plus, I like sharing it with you guys to see what products that I select that you guys are the most interested in seeing me use to create videos and content for you guys. So that is what we are going to be doing today. If you are newer to my channel, welcome. I hope that you'll consider subscribing if you have not done that yet. Also, be sure to hit that notification bell just so that you know whenever I upload a new video. And with that said, let's get into the makeup I've selected for March and April-ish, springtime-ish. And I'll warn you now, there are a lot of eyeshadow palettes in here. Alright guys, so here is my bin of selections for my spring shop my stash. A lot of the stuff in here I really wanted to try and pick things that I knew I'd probably be in the mood for reaching for in the spring, things that I know my skin typically likes in the spring, or type of finishes I like in my complexion products for springtime, and of course the colors that I like reaching for as far as my lip products and cheek products and eyeshadow palettes. So I'm going to go through everything starting with complexion products. So I did pick one primer, and this is the one I went with. It is the Flower Beauty Supernova Celestial Skin Elixir. I've had this for a couple of months and I really do enjoy this. This is a skin oil. It's very much an oil base. It has some shimmer in there, but it really doesn't show up on the skin. It's just a really nice lightweight oil. If you have dry or aging skin, I think this might be something you would enjoy if you like using a lightweight oil underneath your foundation or your complexion products. It absorbs really nicely into the skin. It has a really soft, fresh scent to it, but I really like the way that this feels on my complexion underneath my skin, especially when I want a really hydrated, dewy effect to my skin. As far as the foundations that I reached for, I know I want to continue to use the Wet n Wild Dewy Foundation. I really am loving this foundation. I know I've heard very mixed reviews on this. Some people absolutely love it, some people absolutely do not love it. I really like it. I definitely don't think the wear time is fantastic. I know I've heard a couple people say that, and I would agree with that, especially if you have skin that is a little bit more oily and foundations tend to break down on you. If you do have very dry skin though, and you're okay with just a solid 6 to 8 hour wear time, I think you probably would enjoy this. But I really wanted to reach for this one as well because I want to try combining this foundation, the L'Oreal Fresh Wear, which is one of my favorites, with the Dewy Foundation. I love the Fresh Wear foundation because of its wearability. It can be a little bit drying on my skin, and I've mentioned this before, but I'm wondering if the mixture of these two will kind of be a magical mixture. I haven't tried it yet, but it's one I definitely am interested to try out to see if the dewiness of this helps this one be more hydrating, and if the long wearingness, which is not a word, helps this one wear a little bit better. We'll see. I'll try and keep you guys posted on how it goes. I also put the Misha BB cream in here because I know this is a product, especially as springtime rolls around. I have 2 boys that will be playing baseball, and I will be spending a lot of time outdoors in the sun on Saturdays and weekdays, and I know I'm going to want the SPF that this one provides, so had to have that in there. And now let's talk about some concealers. So first off, I am picking this one, the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer. This one is a little bit light for me. I do want to try and combine this with this concealer though. This is new to me. This is the Revlon Candid Concealer. I got this after Tati really highly recommended it at her year-end favorites. I had had my eye on it for a while, but they actually went on sale at my Walmart, so I picked up a couple shades of this one. It is a little bit too dark for me, but I figured combining it with this one might give me a good shade match. I also pulled in my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I also reviewed this one in the same review that the Wet n Wild foundation was in, and guys, I love this concealer. I'm so sad to report that this is breaking me out because I love the finish of this one so much. I know not everyone will have that problem with this concealer, but if you are breakout prone, you may want to keep that in mind. I have had a couple of people in my comment section mention that e.l.f. complexion products do break them out. So moving on to, oh, I forgot to mention this. I do have a primer that I just picked up. It's actually still in the box. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I've not tried this out yet. So many people have raved about it. You guys know I'm not huge into primers, but I do know with some of my more hydrating foundations, like the new Wet n Wild one, I can have issues with larger pores on the sides of my nose. So I wanted to give this a try and just see if that kind of helps that issue for me. And I know a lot of people really love this one. I also picked up this is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. One of you mentioned this in my comments, and when I went to Target to pick up the missing e.l.f. palette that I'll show you guys in a sec, kind of funny that I decided to pick up a powder, because you guys probably know if you've been watching my videos for a while that I'm not a big powder person, but I'm curious to give this one a try because it's affordable. One of you recommended it to me, and I mean the name Halo Glow Setting Powder. If there's ever a setting powder that's going to work for me, if it does actually have a nice glow to it, maybe it's one that I would enjoy. So I will give this a try and let you guys know how it goes, maybe try out in a future video. As for bronzer, I grabbed just two. The e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer, which is another recent tryout. I've been loving this one and using it almost every day. I really, really am enjoying this bronzer. Also my Milk Makeup bronzer stick in Baked, because I knew if I didn't put it in here I'd be reaching for it anyway, so I might as well put it in my Shop My Stash because that's one that I can't go more than 5 days without using. For blushes, I have quite a few. Let's start off with this one. This is the Alamar Cosmetics Blush Trio. I have it in the shade Fair Light. I love these blushes, and I especially love this trio for spring and summertime. It has a perfect neutral pink, it has a perfect kind of coral shade, and this fun pop of bright orange that I think is so pretty, just right at the tippy top of the apples of your cheeks. I think these are so beautiful. They have a really subtle glow to them that is just lovely. I also picked out these. This one right here is the Sugar Ball Cushion Cheek Color. I got this from Yes Style back in the fall, and I love this as a cream blush. It's a perfect peachy color, which I love these kind of colors in the spring, but it also has a bit of like brightness and pink to it that I think is just really fresh looking on the skin, and love the formula of those cream blushes. I also am pulling this one in. This is relatively new to me. This is NARS Madly. I love this blush. It looks so plain in the pan, but it's a really pretty, dusty, peachy rose on the cheeks. I've really been enjoying this, and I am so impressed with the NARS blush formula so far. I also am pulling in this e.l.f. blush in the color Always Rosy. This is another one that's newer to me that I want to keep trying out. For highlights, I'm pulling in this Makeup Revolution highlighter, which I tried out in the same video that I tried out the concealer and the Wet n Wild foundation, the e.l.f. products. Honestly, a lot of those products are going to be in this video because I just filmed that about 5 days ago, and I'm really loving everything I've tried out so far. I'm loving this highlighter. It's such a beautiful color. If you are into just a peachy champagne, this is beautiful. I love the formula of it. Very impressed with this so far. I'm also pulling in the Persona highlighter in the color Zuma. This is a beautiful highlighter. It's a very golden champagne highlighter, but it looks so pretty on my skin, especially as I start to get a little bit more of a tan. If you like that kind of bronzy goddess kind of look, this is a very beautiful highlighter to pair with a bronze eye and a bronzed cheek. Beautiful highlight. This is the only highlighter that I've ever worn that my husband has commented on my highlight. I wore this one day and he told me I looked like a golden goddess or something, and I thought, okay, I'll take that as a compliment. I also wanted to include a liquid highlighter, and this one is one of my old favorites that I haven't reached for a while. I love this formula. This is the Makeup Revolution liquid highlighter in the shade Champagne. This is a beautiful highlight. In fact, I didn't swatch those highlights. I should probably swatch those for you guys. This is really beautiful, and what I love about this one, you have to blend it out really quickly because it does set down, but I love that once it sets down, it does not move. If you use just the right amount, it doesn't emphasize texture too much. You have to be careful with how much you use though. But if you do that, it gives the perfect highlighted effect that just stays in place all day long. So I'm going to go back and swatch these two highlighters for you guys. Here is the, look how beautiful and golden that is. And then this is the Makeup Revolution highlight on this side. Those actually are similar. This one has quite a bit more peach in it, whereas this one has more of like almost like a brownie gold, but it's not super dark. I worried when I got this that it would be too dark for me, but if I use a light hand, darkness doesn't really show up. It kind of shears out. Okay, let's move over to eyeshadow palettes. Starting off with these are the e.l.f. bite-sized eyeshadow palettes. I did a video on these recently where I'd used one. I used this one right here, which is the shade, I guess not shade, palette Truffles. This is the one called Truffles, which has just some basic browns, a dark blackish brown, and this kind of silvery taupe. But I'm planning to film a video using all of these other palettes that I haven't used yet, so basically these 6 right here. I might try and film that video today, so hopefully that will go up next week, but actually I think that video might go up before this one. I will link it right here if it is up right now, but I am excited to try these out. So I know I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes in here. Once I'm done using all of these ones for that video, I probably will take most of them out. But these are basically the other ones that I really wanted to focus on for spring. First off, this one right here, the Huda Beauty Nude Light palette. This is such a beautiful palette. I've talked a lot about this palette over the last couple months, but if ever there was a time to pull it into a stash, it's definitely in the spring. I mean, this is one I can get a lot of use out of all year long, but these are all the tones I crave in the springtime, and I love every look that I've ever done with this palette. Somewhat similar to that one, I'm also pulling in the Blush Crush palette from ColourPop. I wanted to show you guys these two next to each other because I feel like there are some tones in here that are similar, but you definitely have kind of a similar vibe in these two palettes. This one doesn't have the purple that this one has. In fact, let me just swatch a couple of these comparisons. So these two shades right here kind of remind me of each other. Again, I don't know that these are dupes, but they're similar. Like this matte purple and maybe this kind of matte purple could be somewhat similar to each other. Not exact, but kind of close. This brown and this brown. Again, both beautiful palettes. I've only used this one a couple of times, but I want to continue to use this one because, as you will see, I have a lot of ColourPop palettes in here. I am planning to do in the next month or so a ranking all of my ColourPop palettes video, and these are the 4 palettes that I feel like I still need to use a little bit more. I do know that I love this palette, but I want to keep using it because I really am tempted to rank this one super high. It's discontinued now, but I love the tones inside here. But these 3 right here I haven't actually used a ton. I bought this double entendre one the same time I bought the Night Owl palette, and I just ended up reaching for this one a little bit more. I just think the brown tones in here are a little bit more interesting. But this is a beautiful basic palette if you like neutrals and warmer neutrals. I just haven't used it a ton yet, and I want to force myself to use it a little bit more so I know where I really want to rank this one. So I want to swatch a couple of these ones for you guys as well. So I feel like these palettes they're not the same. I know they look more similar than I think they actually are. I mean, I can see some colors that look almost identical to each other. I mean, these two probably being the closest, these matte kind of yellowy cream colors. Let me just swatch these for you guys if they show up. Okay, those two are almost absolutely identical. There are subtle differences in these palettes that are definitely noticeable on the eyes. When I ordered this, I don't feel like it was super long after it released, probably a month or so after it released, but when I went to link it shortly after I ordered it, it was already discontinued. And I just think that's so tragic because this, I think, is such a beautiful palette that did not get the recognition that it deserved. This color right here, Bird Brain, it's like a purpley plum brown that has some gold and red in it. It's just magical on the eyes. It doesn't look very purple right there, but on your eyes it has this like purple shift. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's purple. It's just a really interesting color that's not like any other golden bronze color I have in my collection. It has a really pretty sparkly reflect to it as well. Just very unique. I love this gold, which is a beautiful yellowy brassy gold, but it's not too brassy. Oh, it's like an orange gold. It's so pretty. Beautiful copper. This color is definitely not super unique, but it's a beautiful one. It's tragic to me that they discontinued that palette because it's so pretty, and I feel like I can't use it now because people get annoyed when you use beautiful things that they can't buy anymore. But this one looks pretty as well. You've got a nice bronze in here. Looks similar to that one right there. Got some good neutrals. This is a really great lid shade. You guys know how much I love a good champagne. That's a beautiful shimmery champagne right there. So, and this is a really cool color. It's like a matte brown that has a lot of glitter in it, but it's like a green glitter. Sorry, I'm running out of room to swatch. That's a really fun color. It reminds me of Tati's sequin colors. And then of course these two are newer to me. I got these at Ulta just a couple of weeks ago. They're beautiful spring tone palettes. I expected to like this one more than I actually am liking what I've done with it so far, but I haven't used it enough to really even have that opinion yet. So I need to keep using it and gather my thoughts on what I really think of this palette. The last 2 palettes that I really am excited to reach for spring. This one is definitely not, this one actually I feel like is more of a summer and fall palette, but honestly these are definitely neutrals that you could use all year long. But I love this palette so much, and I've had requests from you guys to use this palette in a tutorial or a video, maybe even like a couple of looks with it. So that's something I want to do for you guys in the coming month or 2. Let's go ahead and swatch some of these. I love these kind of yellowy orange mattes. They're so beautiful. Oh, look at that rust color. It's such a pretty rusty, earthy orange. Oh, seriously, this palette just, there's something special about these colors. They are just so me. I'm really into like earthy greens, and this like pukey green. Oh my gosh. Doesn't look as green on camera as it does in person, but it is the most interesting, beautiful color. I absolutely love it. And I think I've used every shade in here so far except for this deep shimmer right here. And I haven't had any issues with any of them. I've heard some people say that some of these can be patchy. I didn't have any trouble with them. Oh, that is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine that as like a deep, dark, smoky eye with like this on top? Look at this shimmer, you guys. I talked about this in my All-Star palette. This is like my ultimate lid shade. Sorry, my finger was a little dirty, but did you see the shine on that? It is just exceptional. And then of course a deep matte brown, which is a necessity for me, and this is such a good one. Juvia's Place's matte browns never disappoint me. They're always so rich, so perfectly blendable but buildable. Look at that. Is that just not the most beautiful color story you've ever seen? I recently saw Mel Thompson declutter this palette and I was like, no, Mel! Granted, she has a massive eyeshadow collection that I was just drooling over, so still, I feel like this will forever be one of my favorite, not just palettes from Juvia's Place, but palettes in general. It's gorgeous. And then lastly, I am pulling in my Natasha Denona Love palette. I still kind of feel like I have mixed feelings on this palette. I'm a lot more critical of these palettes, which I think I should be because they're more expensive. When you're spending a lot of money, and a lot of money, I mean this is still $65, but I do love Natasha Denona's formula. I do want to keep using it because it's definitely a very pretty palette for spring, and especially I think if I combined this with either the like Night Owl or the Double Entendre palette to get some of the browns and neutrals in here. There's just something about being able to pair a brown with either a purple or a pink that really makes it more of a wearable way to wear a pink and a purple if you're not going for a really bold eye. I like to pull a couple mascaras in here, even though normally I reach for, my mascaras are just in a drawer behind me and I just randomly will grab one depending on what I'm feeling like using. But I like to have some that I try and focus on, and these are the three that I'm going to really try and get more use out of this spring. I love the Milani Highly Rated as a first coat before I put something else on top of it. I've been layering my mascaras a lot lately, and this one layers really nicely as like the first coat with other mascaras on top of it. And these are the other two that I'm going to add in. This is the Tony Moly Delight Circle Lens Mascara. I love this stuff. It is a little bit finicky. It's a little bit difficult to use. It sometimes can get little flakes of fibers in your eyes, which although sound like terrible things, but when this one works, it makes my eyelashes look amazing, and it's super, super affordable. It also wears really well on me and is really easy to remove at the end of the day. This one I also love, the Essence Volume Stylist. I pulled this one in because this is one of those mascaras that I like wearing, like if I'm watching a baseball game on the weekend, because this is almost waterproof. I would say this is like a water resistant mascara. It is very difficult to remove at the end of the day, but I love how it wears and I love what it does for my lashes. And I forgot one more. I also pulled in my Bare Minerals Lashtopia mascara. As for eyebrows, I am pulling in my e.l.f. brow pencil that I pretty much always use on and off. I'm also going to pull in this BH HD brow pencil. I bought this the same time that I first tried out the Ulta Beauty Ultra Slim Brow Pencil, which you guys probably know that I love. But I fell so in love with that one that I haven't really given this one a chance yet. So I'm going to try and get some use out of this one this month and see what I think about it. Moving on to lip products and starting with the lip pencil that I pulled in. This is the NYX lip pencil in the color Nude Pink. This is a really nice lip pencil. I love the one in beige. That one's a little bit more cool toned. This one is more of like a warm neutral pink, which I love wearing pink lips in the spring. I'm also pulling back in these two lipsticks that I talked about recently. I love this one right here from Maybelline. This is in the color Romantic Rose, and it's such a beautiful kind of neutral leaning cool toned pink. It's such a nice formula. I just really love their lipsticks. I think they're so good. And then this one right here, this is kind of a hidden new gem. This is from Wet n Wild, and I've been loving this one. I love the way this looks and feels on my lips. It wears really easily. It doesn't last all day long. It is a much more shiny kind of glossy lipstick, but it wears beautifully. I don't mind reapplying it. It's super comfortable. I think the packaging is so cute. The last three that I pulled in are this one right here. This is the NARS Velvet Matte in the color Unlaced. This is a really nice light nude pink, which I love pairing on top of other lipstick colors if I want them to be a little bit lighter in the middle or just with a nice liner. I also pulled in this one. This is one of my favorite bold lip colors. This is from Flower Beauty. This is the color Melon Pop. It's a liquid lipstick. It is the most beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to wear this. It's like an orange pink. I can't even explain the magic of this color. It's, if you were to mix an orange, like an orangey red, with a magenta pink, this is the color you would get, and it's just the prettiest, most brightening on your complexion type of color. I absolutely love this one. If I'm wearing a bold lipstick, I like to go really, really bold. I don't know why, but I feel like it makes it more wearable for me. I know I've said that before. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone but me, but I love this color. Honestly, just looking at that gets me excited for spring. I also pulled in the Persona lip gloss in the color pink. This is just a beautiful basic gloss, great one just to throw in your purse. You don't even need to pair anything else with it because it has plenty of color. It's beautiful formula, beautiful color. And I think that that is everything. All right, you guys, that is it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this Shop My Stash video. Again, if there's anything that you saw in here today that you really would like to see featured in an upcoming video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you again for stopping by. I hope that you guys have a good one, and I will see all of you very soon in my next video. Bye. Not exact, but just the overall, not exact. How many times do you need to say not exact? Just once is plenty. Mandy, move on. Oh, it's like a basketball.
Yeah.
Is it a bouncy basketball?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Throw it and bounce it. Can you catch? You caught it?
No.
Is it under your tramp?
It's right here.
Hip hip.